Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach. It's going to be the round 25 review, and as you can see, it's a good score, 1,360 points. We jumped up 40 ranks, so it was a good week after a couple of, I guess, subpar weeks, although there were plenty of high scores. I think, like, definitely above par. Like 1360, I don't know, maybe par was about 1300, depending on your position in the ranks. Because I saw a couple of people, people in the couple of thousands, they scored like 1400 and jumped like a couple of thousand spots. So it was a good week. A couple of disappointing moments, and you'll see. Oh my god. We're going to get to it in a second. But we're sitting 535. I got to be honest. I was hoping that we jumped up like quite a few spots, like maybe 100 or 200. I know that's probably a little ambitious, but I was really hoping we were going to leap up quite a few, because this week could be an absolute disaster. Depending how things shape up, we could be in some bother. we could be in a spot of bother this week, I gotta be honest. But let's quickly have a look at how the team scored individually. And fuck man, you can see from the get-go, Harry Grant 59. It's fine. Didn't really have any attacking stats, but 59. He looked dangerous at times, but you know, it is what it is. He's got a couple of big hundreds recently, so can't be disappointed. Damien Cook, fucking Cook, finally scored big. Now, this one's not like that annoying, because I mean, I was never going to play Cook. It's just a matter of if the people that own Cook and don't own Grant and obviously play Cook, they were loving this week. But it's still worked out negatively if you haven't owned Grant and you've just had Cook the whole time. He's been sort of lackluster, but he finally went big. He finally started running the football, which is good to see. And I mean, it was a game that obviously the Knights sort of pumped the Rabbitohs. I mean, the Rabbitohs still made plenty of ground, and they were getting some quick play the balls, and Cook finally just started to run the fucking ball. It was good to see. Annoying to see as a non-player, but it is what it is. Our front row, Joe Tarpany, 97. Oh, baby. It feels damn good. Tarpany finally, he didn't score a try, but he set up his other big man in Josh Papali'i with a beautiful little try assist and almost cracked a ton, which is very nice, because I think the front rows this week were all pretty... no one scored a try, I think. No, Tino didn't. He went fine still against Penrith. Fanil Blake, I don't know. He would have scored okay still. Corey Horsburgh, fucking 70 points in I think he played 65 minutes, because unfortunately he copped a head knock. Yeah, 67 minutes. My man was on track for 90 points. He was a fucking madman, man. Horsburgh's so good. It's just unfortunate he copped that head knock and didn't come back on. I don't know. I actually didn't hear it when I was watching the game. I was sort of watching the game here and there, but I'm hoping it wasn't a category 1. I mean, it wasn't a good knock. I remember seeing it, and he was out of it when it happened. I'm just praying that it wasn't a cat 1. So God, if he we'll get to some of the drama in a second, but if Horsburgh is also ruled out with a head knock, oh man, we're gonna be in some bother. Our back row. This is where it gets quite tilting. So Bryce Cartwright, it started out well. He scored another try. He was on track for a bigger score, but obviously the Eels weren't great, and Cartwright, he had quite a few errors, but thank God he scored that try, which was nice. Bryn Nickera, 57, and Johnny Bateman, 54. Dave Fafita was, fuck man, he was on 20 points at half time, and then he scores he scored the easiest try. It was a nice little play from the Titans. They pulled the Panthers' pants down on that penalty tap. It was just a nice little play. Fucking Nathan Cleary was on the wing for whatever reason defending, and he jammed in on no one, and Fafita scored the easiest try. Just, oh my God, it did my head in, man. I couldn't fucking believe it, but he scored 80 points. Actually, I'm surprised he got 80 points still. Like, even with the try, I thought he was only going to get 60 to 70, but he still got 80. I think, yeah, I don't know. A few unicorn points, but it is what it is. Fucking Tohu Harris, 92 points, 3 tries on the trot. His only 3 tries of the year come back to back to back. That is, it's maddening. It's actually maddening. And the worst part about it, right, is that he's played huge minutes. So he played 80 minutes and then 70 minutes. This week, I have to play Tohu Harris because I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel for numbers as it is. So I just know against the Dragons, this is the week he's going to get a rest. He's going to play 40, 50 minutes and have no attacking stats. But it is what it is. We didn't play him for his 3 tries, but unfortunately, I wouldn't have played him this week, but I have to. I have to play him this week, so it is what it is. Can you believe it, man? I actually cannot believe it. It's the worst. It's the worst. I mean, I would have played Harris in the front row, I guess. I mean, the fact Horsburgh and Tarpany both killed it as well, it makes it a bit easier, but yeah. Look at that. 117, 79, 92. Oh, Supercoach can be an absolute fucking bitch, man. Our halves. So, Nathan Cleary, 93 as captain. Man, the Cleary, it just hasn't been our year. And we're still coming 500 overall, so I can't complain too much. But going early on Cleary, instead of Johnson. Johnson obviously didn't score. I think he got 60 points this week. But Cleary, I feel like he's been so close to going massive and really sort of hurting the people that didn't go him. And Johnson a couple of weeks ago was up against the Titans. They had a player sent off, so Johnson just had an absolute field day. It just hasn't worked in our favor with some of the big trade-ins that could have really made our season. But yep, that's Supercoach. 93 still, can't complain. I mean, almost a ton as captain. It's still better than, Johnson and a couple of other popular captain options, but not quite what we wanted. Nico Hines, 108. So, I mean, barring that one low score recently against Penrith, 22. I guess 55 against fucking Titans somehow. He's been unbelievable. He's averaging 93, Nico Hines. So, the fact we kept Hines instead of a Johnson, I guess, I still think is the right decision, but it's sort of been negligible, I guess, up until this point with a few things. But yeah, I still think we can finish strongly. Kalen Ponga, 91. Again, it looked like, oh my God, it looked like he was going to get a massive, massive score. I wasn't really checking the scoring in this game. I was just watching the game. And Ponga, I don't know, he must have got most of his points in the first half, I feel like. He was just tearing the Rabbitohs to shreds. I mean, Campbell Graham, apparently the best defensive center in the game, was just looking like a damn fool. Kalamatangi, I mean, that defensive edge was just getting dominated by Ponga. It was great to see, I gotta be honest. Even though I did tip the Rabbits. I did tip the Rabbits, but the Knights were just way too damn good. Cody Walker with a 41. I mean, again, Cody Walker, holding on to him, I guess, has been a bit of a misplay as well. It was a good run for the Rabbits, and the Rabbits have sort of fucked us, I guess. They just have not done the job. I guess at the same time, the only other 5'8" you'd probably go here is Cameron Munster, who has not been that great either. He only scored 20 to 30 points this week, and he just hasn't really looked like going massive. So yeah, the second 5'8" spot, there's probably been a couple of pods that you could have gone that have probably up the ante, but yeah, we just hasn't quite worked out with Cody Walker holding on to him. A centre wing, so Joey Manu with a 70. Greg Marzhew, 120 points. Oh, that feels good. It feels very, very, very good. And the fact that Gagai looks so good again. Again, I wasn't really checking the scores, but just watching Gagai, I was like, holy shit, he's gonna score a monster one again without any tries. But I think he finished, I don't know, he probably updated a bit with just tackle bus. He probably got like 60 odd. I'm hazarding a guess, but the fact Margie got 120, just doubled his score. Very nice, very nice. Sort of gets it back to even a little bit. Alex Johnston with a big whopping 25 points. Not great. And yeah, and that's it's the thing with Johnston. If he doesn't score tries, he's not going to do well. Chansey, 61, back from concussion, which is good. He looked good. He looked very good. I thought it was going to be a bigger score, but again, most of the Warriors players just went okay, apart from Dallin. Apart from fucking Dallin or Tenny Zalesniak. And I thought with the ankle or whatever he was carrying on about in the first half, he was on like, I don't know, he's on like 80 points at halftime, and I was like, please, for the love of God, just rest him. Just rest him in the second half. Stop the suffering, but he came back out, which I knew he would. I do love Dallin, but he does bung on with injuries quite a bit. I think he does play up for penalties quite often. And you just knew he was fine. Like, it fucking rest him this week. Please, Warriors, just rest him this week if he injured himself. Ruben Garrick with a 68. This could be trouble as well. Fucking Chansey takes out my boy Garrick. Oh, man. And landed straight on his back. I mean, I'm not going to go into that. Personally, I don't think it should have been a penalty. I think if they gave that a penalty, it would have just been, like, ridiculous, I think. But I'm not going to go into that too much. But Garrick is, I think he's, well, I don't know. I haven't really heard much out of it. After the game, like NRL Physio was talking about it, it's usually a quick recovery with stuff like that, but potentially it could do some damage. And it was a pretty heavy fall on his back. So I'm just hoping, like, it feels like he should back up, but you just never know. I mean, Manly are gone. If they just rest him, oh my God, fucking season gone for me. But we'll see. Ronnie Mulatalo with a 58. He scored the early try, and I was like, oh my God, we should have played Ronnie, but didn't end up costing us too much. Obviously, we should have played him over Johnston, but we weren't going to do that anyway. So it worked out pretty fine. I mean, all our non-players scored great. And then Latrell Mitchell got 57. He got fucking... Oh, the Rabbits. And the Mitchell early pickup as well was like... Oh, it's really come back to bite us. I didn't think it would, but it really has. He obviously got sin-binned with that absolute stupid cheap shot on Frizzell. He has been suspended for a game. Now, I'm pretty sure, like, they definitely have to challenge it because, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mitchell's been pretty shit, but I don't think they can beat the Roosters without Mitchell. And they definitely need to win that game to give themselves a chance of getting into the top 8. I haven't really looked. I know there's a lot of moving parts, like the Cowboys, Roosters, and Rabbitohs are sort of all vying for that 8 spot, but we'll see. We'll know more after that. I'm assuming they're going to challenge the grading, and whether or not we, I guess, trade out Mitchell. And then Tedesco, 125. Fuck, dude, this week, Tedesco gets knocked out, and there's 2 negatives to that. One, he was on 125. There was like still, 20 minutes to go in that game? Yeah, 18 minutes to go. He might not have, but he was on track to get a massive score, which would have been huge. Like, he's a very decent pod at fullback, and if he goes 150 plus, then all of a sudden, like, that's how, we jump up quite a few more spots. But no, he gets knocked out, and then on top of that, oh man, it was like, like, straight away, you're like, that's a Cat 1. But then on the commentary box, they were saying that it was apparently Cat 2, which was just like, I was very happy to hear that, but at the same time I was like, there is no fucking shot that was a Cat 2. Like, he was out cold basically, like arms fucking outstretched. So yeah, they obviously upgraded it to a category 1, so he will be out this week. I mean, I guess they can challenge it, and it has happened before, but honestly, I don't think Tedesco won't be playing this week, which is fucking, oh man, it's a real dagger right there, because Tedesco up against the Tigers, his old club as well, like, he was in for a big game, and we were scraping the barrel for players as is. Now we're going to be in trouble, but we have a big decision to make. And again, it depends what happens with a couple of players, obviously with Garrick, and also what happens with Mitchell. So let's have a quick look. Actually, before we do that, let's look at the leagues, because I don't really look at them. But the public league, is this a public league? No, what am I looking at? Yeah, Legends V3. So, okay, so I'm out. I'm out of all of them. Yeah, I was out last week, obviously. But one of them, Legends V3, we're still going strong in this one. We're obviously into the grand final. Jacob, we picked us. He got 1371. Again, I'm probably not going to win, because I don't play it for head-to-head, so it is what it is. But let's look at his team, because obviously if he has a lot of Rabbitohs, he could be in trouble, but it doesn't look like it. He's got Grant, Tarpany, Horsburgh, Harris, Fafita, Nickera, Bateman, Ford, Preston. Obviously Preston being out's not good. Cleary, Hines, Walker, Munster. Yeah, Munster 28. Whew. Garrick, he's got Meany, Mulatalo, Klokstad, Smith. Smith had a shocker, Marju, Ponga, and Tedesco. So he's better off for numbers than I am, but I don't know. We'll see. I think he'll beat me. I think he'll beat me, because we don't have enough like different players, really. I think he's got all the players that I will have for this week. But let's have a quick squiz at numbers briefly. We'll obviously have a better look at how we're sitting after team list and for the preview for round 26. But let's have a quick look, because it's not great. It's not fantastic, and it could be a lot worse depending what happens. But let's just have a look as it is. I mean, we'll put Tedesco there for now, just to see. Take out Johnston, put in Garrick will start. Mulatalo, Ponga's good. Cleary, Hines, Bateman, Kara, Nickera, Fafita, Harris. So I was good. Like, it was a bit touch and go. I honestly didn't quite look at this closely enough. But again, like, I made my decisions week in advance, or a couple of weeks in advance. So I couldn't really do much to begin with. But if all things went fine, like I have 18 players, but that's including Piakora. So Piakora is not going to be good for us, because he's getting like no minutes. But we had 17 really good players. Like, if you look at the 17, it's really solid. Like, it's fine. There would be no issues with it. But obviously now Tedesco is out, so we're going to have no fullbacks. Garrick potentially could be out, and then also Horsburgh. I mean, Horsburgh could be out as well if he had a Cat 1. I'm not entirely sure on that one. I'll have to, I guess we'll know with team list. But at the moment, I'm leaning towards just Tedesco. Now, the thing about it, this is where the big decision comes in, right? I guess, well, it also depends what happens with Mitchell. So there's a couple of situations. If Tedesco, obviously he's out. if Mitchell... It's a tricky one either way, honestly. Because if Mitchell does get the charge downgraded, he's still missing this week. And then him and Tedesco come up against each other in the final round. And you would expect Tedesco would be fine for that round after a week off. It would probably make it pretty simple if Mitchell doesn't get it downgraded, because then he's just an easy trade out. We trade him out this week. We wouldn't have him for the next 2 weeks anyway. Obviously, that leaves us with no... We were saving the trade just in case like a Cleary or another big boy got rested. But at the end of the day, I mean, Mitchell or Tedesco, they're big scorers as well. So if Cleary or Hines or one of these guys gets rested in the final round or multiple, it is what it is. We can't really do too much about it. So I think we probably do have to use the final trade in this week. And if Mitchell does get it downgraded, though, who would you trade out, Mitchell or Tedesco? Unfortunately, they're both like the same price. Obviously, Tedesco would make money now, but they've had a couple of lowish scores, so they're just over 700k. If we look at, I mean, we wouldn't have... If Mitchell does get it downgraded, we could just trade out Johnston, actually, because I don't really want to play Johnston in the last round, and he's 650, and then we'd keep Tedesco and Mitchell. So we could do Johnston instead. So let's have a look. Even Cody Walker, no, I don't think there's much point in that. Yeah, that should be fine. But if we look at... Let's have a quick squiz at Johnston. Who can we get for Johnston? We could get a Zarko. So I think we can actually get anybody. I think a Zarko would be the highest. Yeah. No. No, yeah, what I'm talking about. Fucking... I was like, wait, what? No, yeah. To'o's 100k more. So no, I can't get him. Unfortunately, To'o actually would have been a good one to pick up. He obviously had the rest this week, but it is what it is. Obviously no Holmes, Feld, fuck no. Isaac Tungo still not back. Gagai, yeah, he got 56, which is crazy. Like, it looked like he scored so well. But yeah, we can get a Zarko, we can get Dallin. We could get Dallin. I mean, he just looks like he's gonna keep scoring, man. Like, unless he gets a rest, fuck, maybe you do just get Dallin. Like, it doesn't look like he's not gonna score tries. I mean, the scores haven't been that good. Like, he does need like 2 or 3 tries to go massive. And obviously this big score helped by the fact one of his tries was just an absolute monster, like just busting through like 8 tacklers and just going fucking massive. But they got the Dragons and then the Dolphins. Like, it is really nice. You could just go Dallin. He's only at 9.7% of teams still. Who else could we go? Suoli'i? I don't hate Suoli'i. I mean, I wanted him weeks ago, but obviously it didn't quite pan out, and he's gone pretty good back on the wing. Brad Best, Steph Crichton. I wouldn't go Crichton. Crichton looks like he'd be such a good play, but he just doesn't quite have the consistency, I think. Yeah. No one really else. Fucking Jordan Rapiner, 160. Man, oh man. I don't know how he wasn't sin bin for a couple of those late shots, but it is what it is. Jason Saab, 120. Jacob Kiraz. You need a pod high scorer. I mean, Timoko's found a bit of form. I don't know. I am leaning towards just going Dallin or Suoli'i, probably. I mean, they have West and then obviously Rabbits in the final round. he's looked pretty good. He's looked pretty good going back to the wing. Like, just the base is up and, you know, they're starting to score a few points. So he's got some goals. Obviously, take out the Broncos game because they flogged them 84-75, 108. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But then if we look, so I am leaning towards that. But obviously, if Mitchell doesn't get it downgraded, then we obviously just get rid of Mitchell. So if we look at Mitchell, are there any fullbacks? I feel like, yeah, unfortunately, Drinkwater. Fuck, I would have loved to have gotten Drinkwater in. It would have been so good. He's still a bit too much, unfortunately. 870k, because they have the Dolphins, and then what's the final game? Well, it's Penrith, but Penrith might rest a lot of players, so it might not be too bad. But Drinkwater's still looking really solid. Go back to Clint Gutherson? Nah. Nah, they got Penrith this week as well. Reece Walsh? Like, Walsh is a pretty good flyer for the last couple of weeks. They got Raiders. They got Raiders and Melbourne. The Melbourne game, I still think he can score really well, but it feels a better final round. It'd be very tempting. Who else? Any other? Dylan Edwards? No. He obviously went big this week, but he's just, I don't know, he's just so inconsistent. Even with the base stats, like he dishes up some pretty poor numbers. I mean, he's 500k for God's sakes. Yeah, I don't know. There's probably no one really else. Probably out of these, if I was trading Mitchell, again, we could get in. We could swing Garrick down. Or Klokstad for that matter, and get in Dallin or Suaalii, or we could go Reece Walsh. I'm probably leaning towards those two, or Zarko. Who has Zarko got? So they got Cowboys, not the best, and then Warriors. Nah, I couldn't go with Zarko. He's been great. He's been great all year, but I couldn't rely on him going massive in the final two games. So there's a lot riding on Teamless. If fucking, I don't know, if miraculously Tedesco can get his, like, concussion downgraded or something and he can play, oh, I'd be loving life. But I don't think so. So that means we don't have to trade. Like, we could just have Piacora come in as our 17 and we would get a free loop, basically. Well, we would get a free loop. But I just think going into like this round and also the last round, depending what happens with Mitchell, yeah, it probably makes sense to trade one of them out now and get in, yeah, Dallin, Suaalii, or Reece Walsh. I don't hate either. Yeah, it's a tricky one though. It's a tricky one. This week could be an absolute disaster. That's why I was hoping I jumped up like quite a few spots this week gone, because I knew this week was going to be a bit of a freaking disaster for us. I'm just, please, for the love of God, Horsburgh, I don't think it was a cut one. Like, it looked bad, but please, for the love of God, he better be playing. Ruben Garrick, you better be fucking playing, my man. And then Tedesco out. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just praying that there's a few restings, you know. Unfortunately, Toto got rested last week, so he'll be good for people. But just rest like fucking Dallin. Rest Dallin Wateni against the Dragons, man. He's carrying a bit of an ankle injury. Get him off. Who else do I want rested? Get rid of fucking Zarko. Get rid of, who else? Heaps of them. Nick Meaney, get rid of him. Gagai, give him a spell. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Please, Teamless, don't screw me this week. It could all come crumbling down in the final 2 weeks. But we'll see. I wouldn't be shocked if this week we do drop a few hundred spots. But at the end of the day, we weren't really pushing for like top 100 or anything. We just can't find it. We just couldn't get on a roll. We couldn't get any massive scores. Going the big pod route of Cleary and Mitchell early didn't really reap the rewards. The team was really good, but we just failed to really live up to the potential, and we're just hovering around that 500. So if we drop a few hundred spots, the goal just stay in the top 1K, and I'll be pretty happy with that. Anyway, it's still a pretty good finish, all things considered. This year, it's been I don't know. The year's been very strange. I don't want to say it's all bad luck, but we've had a bit of bad luck for sure. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying. We'll have a bit more of a deep dive into what we're gonna do after team lists and in the preview for round 26. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.